Hi there, you lovely lot, and welcome to the latest episode of Pat's Procrastination, brought to you by the Pat's Propaganda YouTube channel. Here we are, folks. It's still technically it's pre-season. It's not off-season. It's now pre-season. One pre-season game in the bag. Plenty of training camp also to discuss. Episode 97. We are this close to managing 100. Who'd have thought it, folks? As usual, I am Clazzy Clare. He is Chudders. Just before I welcome in my fantastic co-host, I do need to have a quick plug of, don't forget to be subscribing to the Pat's Propaganda YouTube channel so that you can get any of these episodes whilst we're in the pre-season, as we aren't quite as regular as we are in the regular season. And also, shameless self-plug, A Clare Perspective, episode 142 dropped last week, and I got to speak to the wonderful Paul Percolate. It was previously to the Colts preseason game, so it was just a general, so it's still out there, so please still check it out. And of course, the patspropaganda.com blog page, where you'll find my written work, pretty much. So I think that is it for all the advertisements, shameless plugs, and we're done. So here we are. It's been a while. It's been about 6 weeks, if not more, since we last did a show. So Chudders, how are things with you?
Things are wonderful. Did you not need to make a statement as well?
A statement?
Or was that your statement? You said you need to make a statement.
No, there is also, it was just no, that's still to come. Don't
wow, I'm excited for this presidential statement. No, we'll all go silent and listen attentively.
Something that I meant to also mention that's nothing to do with that is, I just need to say kind of that all the best people have birthdays in August. Coach's birthday was like last week, and there's other people in this vicinity that have a birthday in August. So I reckon that I need, and obviously TB12, as many people will like. So shout out to everybody that's got a birthday in August, because like we rock. So
yeah, shout out Coach, shout out Coach, shout out TB12.
Yeah.
Shout, anyone, just generally. No, happy birthday, Claire. 21. I can't believe it. How the years fly. How the years fly. You're only just a little nipper not so long ago.
If only
but my word.
It was ages ago. It was ages ago, my birthday, but it was Coach's last week, so I'd throw that in because it was fun.
It's our first. It's your birthday show. We haven't done a show since your birthday, so technically this is your birthday show.
Well, this is the thing. Last time you guys all saw me, I am now older, as in
last time you were 20, now you're 21. This is the first Pat's Procrastination since you've been 21. Gosh, wow.
People are going to do
you have your first legal drink in America now.
The math is really off. But anyway, it is a football show, as the great Fred Kirsch likes to say. So as we roll it off, I wanted to quote the fantastic Daniel Jeremiah, because he says, as an old scout once told me, preseason is a liar. It's helpful to see how guys move and react, but be careful drawing any sweeping conclusions. That being said, you'd much rather see the young guys look good than bad. And I really do think that is a wonderful wrap-up epitome of the preseason, because it's true. We see all this stuff, and it only half means stuff, and we see things, and we see people that aren't even going to make the roster. Obviously, that's a terrible thing. Don't get me wrong. Somebody not having a job. But it's preseason is a liar. I just thought that was a wonderful way of summing it up. And so that's the show, folks. That's it. Conclusion.
And one day the sun will engulf the earth and all of this will be meaningless and pointless. So why bother, hey?
Not going to be fake giggles though. Oh dear.
Was that your statement? Yeah.
No. That was my statement. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was great. It was like, it's true. We lose our minds because we haven't had football for so long that we're all just like crazy. Some of us more than others, obviously. But it's you have to be careful not to get too invested. And oh my God, he had an amazing catch. He did.
Well, that's realistically because because of the makeup of rosters on nearly all teams, there's only a handful of places that are truly up for grabs this time of year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of established players who you've signed in early rounds of the draft is going to be sticking around even if they've had a poor off season. Your free agents you've picked up, your trades you've made. Realistically, it leaves such a small amount of roster spots that are truly up for grabs. Or practice squad places, that these games now that we see, the reports from training, it's good to know when connections are being made, particularly with new players. How are they bedding in? Are they looking out of place? Are they hitting the system? Are they finding connection with the players around them, whether that's on offense with the quarterback or on defense with linemen or the backs? It's good to know how well people are gelling, but like you say, you can't get too carried away. There's some I still think there's some interesting battles going on in some key places. But even then, we as fans don't really know. We can speculate. We don't really know how many positions are being fought for. And we can get to this in a minute, but things like wide receiver, we don't know whether there's a battle for 7 receiver spots or 5, 6 receiver spots, or some that will be on the practice squad or try to get into practice squad. They obviously might not survive cuts and might get picked up on waivers. But it's an interesting quandary. So how have you found camp? How have you found the storylines coming out of camp? Like you've already said your statement, you're not setting your hat on everything that you're seeing and hearing. But what do you think is of interest?
I think for me, this season, it's all about the tight ends. And I know that you're going to give me some grief and it's always about the tight ends. But it genuinely is this year because we've genuinely got young guys that could be the future of it. And it feels, why is that interesting?
Well, one of the questions I was going to ask you later on was how many tight ends do you think will make the roster?
Oh, well.
Not how many. Well, you can answer how many Claire would, and the answer is probably 17. But how many do you think the Pats are going to keep?
There isn't 17. Well, if anything that Phil Perry says is to go by, which is great because I love Phil Perry. I looked at his sort of early roster projection and he'd got 4, but the 4th was Reggie Gilliam, the fullback. He was putting that in that under that sort of thing. And he'd got Hunter, Reradon and Arkin. And definitely, that's definitely where I feel like I hope it is. I feel like it kind of should be, really, because of the skill set that you've got in regards to the individuals and what you're looking at for your future and needing to see them in a regular situation properly, give them, really give them a year to develop, to grow. Because we know, even coach said, I haven't got the quote right in front of me to sort of quote verbatim, but, we know that Reradon is still some form of work in progress. He has plenty of positives for him, and coach did, I've got a quote somewhere, but it's really long, so I don't know if people want to listen to it. Definitely Penny definitely works hard and all that kind of thing, but he's still a bit raw. He has still, he still needs time. When you look at, not to go like quite technical for me, but when you look at the tight end position, there's more of that than there is of the starter situation. Not many tight ends come into the league ready to be a full-blown starter, as in properly make a huge impact. Because of the position, it's a difficult position because they've got so much to take on board. So the first year for them isn't going to be super sparkly. Yeah, of course, your first-round draft guys, your Tyler Warrens and situation, they are supposed to be, and your Brock Bowers. There's an Eli Stowers and there's a Brock Bowers. So it's like, Brock Bowers was set him off running straight away. But there's less, it's definitely out of proportion with how many do that and how many are there to grow, sort of thing. So he's got growth that's necessary. But I'm really excited. When I was watching the preseason game, as much as obviously I'm interested in it as a Pats game anyway, I was really trying to look for the two rookies to see where we've got, because this is the first time we'd have really seen them. But it's a shame because it doesn't feel like proper, if you like. I'm going to get so much stick for that sounding so English there, but it's a preseason game. You've got the backups and the third string O-line, and you could kind of tell. I know we'll probably talk about that in a minute. So it feels like, you're not getting a fair view of them, but it's, this preseason for me is, regular season for me is, where are these tight ends? Everybody wants to see AJ Brown. That's fine. We kind of know what he can do in a way. And it's going to be wonderful to see him with Drake May, no doubt. So I'm definitely going to be focused on those 80s when I'm watching regular season games as well. Sorry to jump a little bit forward, but yeah. How's about you? What are you feeling when you've been to training camp and stuff?
But let's keep going on the tight ends. I think I know your answer to this, so this is slightly tongue-in-cheek, but I assume the whole Matt Collins as some sort of tight end or
my, I'm so with Evan on this. What's your...
Yeah, I thought you would be, but I thought I'd let you share your opinion on it.
No, this guy's a really good receiver. Why do we need to change him? We've got some tight ends. We've got TEs. You don't need to be changing this wide receiver. Yes, he's got those traits, but he's a receiver with those traits. A bit like Travis Kelce's a tight end with. Yeah. Anyway, won't go into that. But he's a big receiver, contested catches situation. Just leave him as a wide receiver. That's what he is, and he's good at his job. So why do we have to faff? Give me a proper tight end. Bring me a guy that's got thick thighs and a bit of a booty so that he can block really well, and some speed and some route running. So I don't see why we need to do that. Matt Collins should be on the roster as a wide receiver. That's my opinion. Now, it's just my opinion. It isn't factual, of course, but I hold my ground. He should be on the roster as a wide receiver, and that is it. I shall take no questions. No more questions on the matter.
No, I agree with you. I think he should be on the roster. Now, one interesting aspect, which
it's my first show back. Shut up.
As we kind of touched on, you obviously listed 3 tight ends that you think will make the roster. I think there's a chance that Arkin could be more a practice squad who gets elevated than you necessarily need to use a place on him. Because, to explain, like we said at the top, there's a chance the Pats are taking 7 receivers. And obviously, if you're going to take so many, you've got to cut somewhere else. And, if you want to keep Matt Collins, for example, and if he's your, 4, 5, 6, whatever number you want to place his positional value, or whoever is at the bottom of your receiver chart, are you more likely to be able to retain them by giving them a roster spot? And you're going to retain Arkin if you keep him on the practice squad than if you flip that. If you put Arkin on the 53, and let's say your 7th receiver is Douglas, I don't know, whoever, probably not Douglas, but I don't know, Butte, Chisholm, whoever is at the bottom of that list, if you cut them thinking you'll bring them back on the practice squad, there's more of a chance that they'll get picked up elsewhere than someone's going to sign Arkin to their 53 straight off. So that's what. Yeah, go on.
No. I was just, there's another name in the mix because there's Van Vuren who they brought in as a tight end, but he's not in the same sort of situation as Arkin when it comes to blocking. So I get what you're saying about needing a wide receiver and Arkin not being a risk that other people are going to take him. He was an undrafted free agent. But when you look at the skill set, he's the only guy that you've got who's a decent blocker. I suppose has potential to be. Maybe I should throw that in before. But he's the only guy whose skill set is blocking significantly. So
he's primarily a blocking tight end.
Yeah. And he's probably I'm guessing he may be better than Reardon at blocking at this current moment in time, just because of their skill set. So I see your point, and I'm not pushing back as Clazzy Clare, like the tight end enthusiast. I need 1 million tight ends or 17. Nobody needs 17 tight ends. That's ridiculous.
You would love it if the Pats had 17 tight ends.
7, maybe not 17. 17 would be ridiculous. I want an O-line. But see, you're throwing me off now. But yeah, now I don't remember my point, quite frankly. Yeah, I don't believe that he's necessarily a risk of being scooped up by somebody else or anything. Maybe. I mean, he could be. But he's the only guy there that you've got properly blocking. So I would be concerned if he was just a practice squadder, really. Because if you've got that many wide receivers, it's a balance, obviously. And I know that we could probably do another show about the roster, really. It's a balance with what you have wide receiver wise and what you have tight end wise. And if you've got more receivers, don't you need that blocking tight end rather than predominantly looking at your receiving tight ends? That's why I kind of feel this year really going to be pushing back that you need those 3 tight ends /4 with the fullback, obviously. But when you're looking at just the TEs, Hunter, Reardon and Arkin, for me, it seems like I'll feel like it's a big mistake if we don't. Now, again, folks, just my fluffy little opinion, as who am I to say? But
so the other similar news, I think, since we last recorded, I assume you're pleased, Hunter Henry's extension.
Oh yeah, somebody heard me squeal. I don't know how they managed it, but they did. Yeah, it was really cool. The guy's like 31 now, so yeah, hopefully he's gonna be retiring a Patriot. He's said he's had all his kids in Massachusetts, New England, wherever. I don't know exactly where it is. So him and his wife have brought their family through, in the area, which I think is great, and I love it. So yeah, I sort of didn't see it coming. I was quite surprised. I think I'd been sort of checked out of football a little bit at the time. So it was a really nice surprise to be like, oh, right, yeah, oh, great, that's fantastic. That kind of really dragged me back in, I think. That was that pivotal moment of where I got back into football sort of for the off season, more so, I think. So it was good. Yeah, it was good. It was good. I was really happy. I just want to see what the young guys can do as well. And I think it's pivotal that they've recognised that they need him in the fold and, sort of not acknowledge, what's the word I'm after?
Reward?
Yeah, that wasn't the word I was after, but it's early in the morning. But yeah, that kind of thing, to maintain, appreciate the veterans who are really bringing the culture and that kind of thing. So yeah, the appreciation. Sorry, that was the word I was after. Apologies, folks. I need more.
Well, he's obviously one of the lead. I think he was leadership under Mayo. Sorry, I can't remember, but he was one of the few that was kept around from that senior group when the cull happened last year.
Well, he's been there since Josh McDaniels previously and Bill Belichick. So he almost feels like a really long-term serving Patriot now, which I know it's only a handful of years, but yeah. And I think it was good that they have shown the appreciation for someone who deserves it personally. And I wouldn't say that just because I'm a tight end enthusiast and Hunter's one of my favorite players. I'm just stating fact here.
It's fair for you to state, Claire. Were you then disappointed at the lack of targets and use of tight ends in the receiving game last week? Just to move slightly onto the game, but we don't need to break the game down like we normally do because I think it's more just an extended practice. But the elements we could obviously see was that game. There wasn't much utilization.
Personally, it's difficult. It feels difficult to assess, particularly this one, because it's going to look so much different under Drake May than it is under Tommy DeVito, who had, from what I hear /read/see, DeVito had a really good camp. He's had a really good training camp so far. And he hit that game really inconsistently. He had some good throws, but he had some wonky ones as well, should we say. And I know he hasn't got the size that Drake May's got. And see, I don't like that in a quarterback. With all due respect to DeVito, I think he's, I'm happy he's our backup. That's fine. I like it. I have no problem. You know me, I always think that quarterbacks need to be a few inches taller, really. So it's difficult. That's why I threw in that statement from Daniel Jeremiah. Not trying to be a negative Nancy on the situation or anything like that. It was just, it's going to look so much different, May throwing to Reridan, than it is what DeVito can do. I mean, one of the catches that Reridan tried to make, all sense and purposes, he did his best, but it was on the top of his shoes. One of the, the catches really made me remember. Now, I'm not saying this kid's Gronk. Please don't at me. It just made me think of how Brady used to place it really low for Gronk as well sometimes. And it's just like, I'm really looking forward to seeing May to Reridan, not DeVito to Reridan kind of thing. So it was difficult, again, to assess because that isn't the way it's going to be. Touch wood, because it's going to be May, as they like to say. But yeah, there wasn't as much to assess as what I was hoping. But it's good. The kids, when I say the kid, I mean Reridan, is getting out there and getting reps, and that's what he needs. He needs the experience. So I wouldn't reverse that for anything. But as a spectator, as a fan, sort of not analysing, but, looking at it, it's hard to say much because it's supposed to be different. Sorry, not the best answer.
No, it's a long, detailed answer. I think it's good. They have, I think, 6 tight ends on the books at the moment. You've obviously said you think 3 on the main roster, and that's excluding Gilliam.
So is there 6 instead of as well as Gilliam?
Yeah.
So it's Hunter, Reridan, Arkin, Van Vuren,
Dupree, Westover, Van Vuren.
Yeah, he's the guy that they signed recently. So Westover's on. Yeah, Westover's on as a tight end now. Yeah, they've taken it. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's going to make the roster. In all fairness,
I agree.
It's sad because I think
the question I was going to have was,
sure,
are there ones like Westover that you want to keep around the practice squad, maybe because he's also backup, then potentially for Gilliam, should there be an injury there or something, a blocking fullback kind of role? Like, are you hoping that they keep as many of these around as possible, so there's potential further options down the line?
Well, yeah, there's the trouble is with me, you've got 2 sides, haven't you? You've got the sentimental side and you've got the logical side. We don't quite have the same split in that respect. So there's the sentimental side that, of course, wants to keep everybody because everybody's a Patriot and you love it. Westover, he just, fullback wise, yeah, maybe a backup fullback, but it wasn't his best putting him in that position. And I think they moved him to that position sort of hopefully to make a chair for him. I think I get the impression, now I don't know this because I don't know Vrabel well enough, obviously. He likes Westover. I met the dude once. He likes Westover. He seems to like Westover, has he stuck around. Now, I'm not negativing on Westover's play. He's obviously a solid guy, but I didn't see a ton out of him last season to make you think, oh, he's a really, really neat keeper. But I'm not down there as a football guy that knows those sorts of things. I think Westover and Dupree should definitely be practice squad. Whether or not they'll survive practice squad isn't the matter because they have to be released and brought back. I'm not sure about Westover, if he'd need to be through waivers. I'd have to double check my information because it's very early in the morning for me to know all those kinds of ins and outs. But if they had Dupree and Westover,
they would all go through waivers. I'm fairly certain.
All go through waivers. I know that there's a veteran thing and there's a how long and stuff because I know Westover's been around for a good few years now, actually. So Dupree, in a perfect world, if I could just pick, it'd be Dupree and Westover on the practice squad for certain. You'd have Reridan,
Henry,
and Hunter on the roster. Van Vuren, I don't know. I haven't seen enough of the guy to tell you either way how I feel about this individual. I know like his background is he's a runner, so he doesn't have the Clazzy Clare traits of a tight end where he's tall, but he's got a thick lower half, shall we say. I want to see more. I'm not sure he's the blocker that we need, so I'm not sure where he really fits in all fairness. However, again, I haven't seen enough of him to really comment on him. But if it's a case of going on, if I had to sit here right now and you gave me the slots and you went, well, you can put the names in and that's it, that's where I'd go. Those 3 on the roster and those 2 on the practice squad. And I'd say, sorry, Van Buren, I didn't see you enough to know either way, if you see what I mean.
You've given me an idea there of, I'd like to know who maybe the top 5 Clazzy Clare tight ends are in the league, who you're envious of. And not for now, you don't have to answer that now, but I might set you that as some homework. And just to see, like you say, the traits you look for, who are your favourites around the league. Okay, so let's move on slightly. Positives from
significantly.
Positives from the game last week: 4 turnovers for the defense. Okay, you sound less convinced.
No, it was good. It's one of those. It's a preseason game. There was a lot of players played who aren't going to make the roster. There's a lot of players that played
on both sides.
Yeah. Oh, of course. And I say this with no meanness, no arc, no disrespect in any shape or form. But there's a lot of guys that played that we won't see again as a Patriot. And I genuinely, it is sad. It's awful when it's cut down because it's basically guys getting bumped and it's horrible. But it just felt like there's so much that I saw that I didn't think, oh, we're going to see this guy again. There were some positives. KJ Britt was good. He was a good one to watch. But
I thought Britt had a good game. Had a good day.
He was definitely on my
impactful. He was one of the names that you remember coming out of it. Like you say, there's a lot of players there you might not see beyond the next couple of games ever in an NFL shirt, let alone a Patriots shirt. But I thought Britt had a good day.
So what did you think of Atkis? I know different people say his name differently. To me, he looked a little bit like it was kind of obvious that he missed some of camp.
Yes. I think there's some raw talent. It's not polished yet. But there's some raw talent there. I think they also possibly need to refine him a little more so he's not all boom and bust. It's not all just he's going to completely power and sell out, and if you just let him run around you, then he's gonna run too far, he's gonna run too fast, he's gonna miss the slot, miss the pocket, and that's a side to attack because he doesn't look like a guy who's gonna hold the edge. I
think just
interesting to see how that develops. Go for it, throw it in.
And you saying about he needs refining, controlling, that kind of thing, if you like. Vrabel personally feels like the right kind of coach for him. I'm sure there's other coaches out there that would do well, don't get me wrong. It's just looking at it feels like Coach Vrabel is the coach that you'd want there for that guy.
I hope so. But
again, biased because he's our coach, so
so did you like what you saw from him?
Yes, and type thing. It was one of those. It was.
You thought that it just a bit of rust from not.
Yeah,
being at camp enough.
To me. But this is the other thing, and I hate to keep going back to this, and people are going to get really annoyed. But he wasn't playing with the guys he's going to be playing with. It's one of those. How can you ask me to assess something that isn't going to be what goes out there in September when we are all freaking out because football is truly back and Drake May's going to be on the field and oh my God, it's going to be effing amazing. It's going to be different. It's going to be so different. I feel like I'm assessing something that isn't going to be there. So I'm rating something that you aren't going to give me.
So something that most likely will be there. And I'd also say something that you probably can evaluate because it doesn't matter who they were playing with and playing against.
You're gonna you're gonna be mean to the kicker, aren't you?
I'm gonna ask you the question about the kicker.
This. How can we end the show for Chudders to be really happy? He gets to be mean about the kicker. You love being mean about kickers.
What are your thoughts?
He made some good kicks.
Early season woes. Any concerns? You want to make it a competition? What do you think? It's disappointing.
It's completely.
You see from the other end, the other. The Colts kicker made a 62-yarder. I think it was.
Yeah. But you could you not say their kicker had a good game and Borregales had a really bad one? However, I've heard he's had a decent camp. He's made good kicks. He made other decent kicks in the game. Now, pre-game nerves seems a bit. Oh, that's a really weak excuse, personally.
But it's an even bigger worry because it's a preseason game when there's no competition on the roster.
But what if
if you were under severe pressure, let's say you'd had because I agree, you had a good season last season. That if you were mediocre last season, let's say, and you thought, my position's up for debate here, there's added pressure on there. If they'd brought in a kicker or two that you're competing against and we're going to alternate it in the game, and so you really need to make sure you take your chances. If there was all those levels of pressure on, then you could say, okay, it looks like he couldn't stand up to that pressure and that was a factor in his kicking. None of that exists.
No.
And so it's surely more technical. Maybe some mental, but what's going on there?
See, I hate to sound naive.
Go for it.
Because you always throw that back at me. I just kind of think he just had a really bad game.
He might have. I hope that was the case.
Players have bad games. It's not good. And when it's the kicker and his last kick could have won them the game and blah, blah, blah. I totally get it. And I completely appreciate, understand and get what you guys are saying about no competition and things like this. Because he'd had a decent season last season, a reasonable season, because he's had so far a decent training camp, a reasonable training camp. I don't think he needs someone there breathing down his neck as competition, like when they had Parker Roman last season, to make him good. Because I think he's breathing down his own neck because he knows it's his job. Because it doesn't matter if there's another guy there. They can cut a kicker and get another one like that. He doesn't already need to be there to put that pressure. Personally, my opinion. I'm genuinely think this guy had a bad game. He just had a bad game. Now, we rock up and we watch what's the next game? It's the Eagles, isn't it? Because it's the training. Yeah, the Eagles one. Because the road games. Anyway. Sorry, my brain trying to work. Now, if he has a really poor performance against the Eagles, now I'm starting to think, you need to get someone in. Maybe we need maybe we need to look at having someone around. Right now, as of this moment, if you were to ask me, I'm coach, I've got my coach hat on and things like this. It's just like, bad game, sign it off, put your beats back on and get yourself sorted. We know you're better than this. So let's go. I think that's where I am with it now. Not knocking anybody that feels like they should bring competition in things like this. Don't believe that you're wrong whatsoever. Just my opinion. I'm okay. One bad game, preseason, doesn't actually technically matter. So I'm okay. But it's one of those, but we'll see situations. Personally, my opinion, as it's a show about, your opinion and my opinion. So I know you'd get a new kicker in like that. I
probably would, yeah. I'd get him in, put a bit of pressure on, and he would still be my number one, and almost. And it's not because I don't think I'd be getting a kicker in to genuinely threaten his position. I think he is our kicker this season, but just to put that little bit of pressure on. Come on, you need to be making every kick now. Let's put a bit of pressure on. Get him up to that intensity, that mindset, that battling mentality that you're going to need in the season now, rather than 2-3 games into the season.
No, completely fair. Nothing.
I think.
Yeah, not wrong whatsoever. Quickly, because I know we're running out of time, and we'll
Go
need
for
to
it.
do our recap of last season's sandwiches and things like this at another point. I do want to quickly shout out then, because we're ending on kickers. Barringer made my good list with his punts and his hang times. So
yeah, no, he was kicking well.
You know me. I like me a good punter. So yeah.
Fair enough.
I think we should wrap on that, quite frankly. Give people their day.
We can wrap on that. Going forward, maybe one of the future episodes you want to do a roster breakdown and competition, do you?
I say things to you and then yes, hopefully we will bring you some kind of roster breakdown, some kind of projection show if we can manage it work-wise to fit it in. Obviously, because there's deadlines with the breakdown and stuff, there's not much point giving you a roster projection after the roster has been made. So this is why, folks, you need to be subscribing to the Pat's Propaganda YouTube channel so that you don't miss an episode of this absolute and utter chaos that is Pat's Procrastination. So Chudders, I think that's it. We're wrapping up. We're rolling.
I think that's it. And,
on to the Eagles.
Just to spoil it slightly, though, I think Claire will probably make the Pat's Procrastination roster this year. We'll see. We'll see. I think she'll probably make it. Go on, then wrap it up.
My spot is in question. Have you brought someone in to like? Wow, really?
You know.
Good to know. Good to know. Considering I'm the one that uploads the show, that's really good to know.
Well, maybe there'll be a practice squad role for you then.
Wow, folks. And on that note, so you may see him, but you might not see me. Who knows? So that is it for episode 97 of Pat's Procrastination, brought to you by the Pat's Propaganda YouTube channel. Please do not forget to be rating, reviewing, and subscribing. Have yourselves a fantastic day. And as always, go Pats.
LFG.